I mean, there are many things that are in play here. Biden, I mean, if you look at it, why is he interfering with Ukraine to begin with?
So you think Trump wouldn't have involved himself at all?
No, not at all.
So
And
okay,
he
so
would
he
have
would have
had
gone
no clue to
against.
talk.
So to clarify, Scott, he would have gone against the treaty that we set up with Ukraine, right? The Budapest memorandum that said if they give up nuclear weapons, that we will defend them. So he would go against that treaty?
Yeah, because he would have brought him to the table.
So then why would any country around the world accept a United States treaty, right, to disarm themselves, right, again in the future if the US doesn't uphold their treaties?
I don't even think those things would have come into play because he
Scott,
would have had a different
let me answer the
idea
question.
about it.
Answer the question.
Zelensky didn't go to the table.
Scott,
All
answer
right,
the
I'm sorry.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Answer the question.
What's that?
Why would any country accept conditions set by the U.S. as it relates to a treaty if they went against their word on this treaty?
If there was a desired outcome as a result of it, of course.
Again, but they don't know if the U.S. is actually going to fulfill that. Because again,
But the
they've gone
desired
against prior
outcome
treaties.
was
You see
the
how that
nego-
degrades trust as it relates to the United States, and that can degrade trust as it relates to whether or not the U.S. will pay back their debt?
Oh, see,
now that can affect
you're
interest
changing
rates.
topics here. Let's stay with Zelensky. Zelensky did not go to the table. Putin was ready to go to the table and talk. All right. Why didn't Zelensky go to the table and try to negotiate and save 300, 400,000 lives?
You mean give up land? So he didn't want to give
Whatever
up
it was
land to
gonna
Russia?
entail. We don't know the details of what they were going to work out. Okay. We don't know that because they didn't do it. But negotiation
Putin wanted the country. They want him to concede land. So you think that he should concede land? Who's to say
Ukraine's
Russia won't take the treaty, rip it up, and keep going, just how
But
Germany
Ukraine's
did in the
never been a
1930s?
country.
Wait, who's to say that they wouldn't do so do so just like Germany did in the 1930s? Sarah, thank you for the dollar. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate the good wishes.
Yeah, but there were different factors when it comes to Germany. I mean,
Like,
well, Hitler went after Poland first.
Poland was when the war started. No, that's not true. They took the Rhineland, they annexed Austria, they went into Czechoslovakia, right? So similarly, right, Russia has taken Georgia, annexed Crimea, invaded Ukraine.
Okay, so if Putin was willing to deal a negotiation, wouldn't he at least entertain that and save lives? Try to save lives?
You want him to concede land?
I can't say that would be the terms. Okay, there were many things.
No, they would. No, Putin wanted land. They would have to concede land. Yo, Rich, thank you for the lemonade stand. Thank you so much,
cool.
Rich.
I've never seen that one.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Rich. Can we get a W, Rich, in the comment section? Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
See, I mean, it's really unfair for you to say it was a land grab or a power grab.
No, that's exactly what it was. That was quite literally the reason that was cited why they didn't want to do this.
Well, I think there were also other things in play. I mean, the fact of the matter that they had contracts for the land being, purchased. I mean, many years ago. So
yeah, are you going to accept? Are you going to accept you're just going to follow whatever the murderous dictator says? Do you think he's not lying? Do you think he's not manipulating?
Everyone's manipulative, and every leader kills. Okay.
So Biden has killed political opponents?
Absolutely, man. What do you think the drones
Give me a source.
do?
Give me a source.
What do you think the drones do, dude?
Give me a source of Biden getting his political opponents killed, please.
I don't think Navalny's dead. Where's the body?
No, please. Okay, so dude, please give me a source that indicates Biden getting political opponents killed.
Yeah, but you're talking about as if Navalny is dead. I don't think he's dead.
No, that's not the only political opponent. And he is dead. I can send you that from AP News right now.
There's no body, Parker. There's no body.
Again, that doesn't mean that they aren't dead, by the way. You
Right,
don't have
true,
to
but
no.
I
And
think it's
also,
a stunt. I think it's a stunt. Putin wants to see how
I can
people are
send you
going to
something from
react.
AP News that indicates that.
Well, he's up. The re-election is next month, so I mean he's got that posing, or that's coming up.
And people are saying
So
there is a body. They said they'll release it in 14 days.
I just think it's a stunt. That's just my own personal belief. I don't think he's dead. I think he's going to be alive. He's going to surface. And we're gonna
Okay,
be
well,
like,
that's
"Oh,
just a conspiracy right now. You have no evidence to support that.
true." But the fact of the matter is that people had a choice to make, and they didn't make it. Whether it be Putin or whether it be Zelensky, they didn't go to the table and negotiate terms, at least for something. You're not going to beat Russia, okay, unless you put
They
boots
can
on the
hold
ground.
back Russia. They can hold back Russia. I
No,
mean,
they're not.
they've been doing. Yeah, they are.
They have not.
They have held back
That's
Russia.
what
What
the
are you
news
talking
would
about?
have you believe.
Yeah. So, what evidence indicates that the Ukraine is not being able to hold?
Ukraine's lost a lot of people. They're running out of
So
soldiers.
is Russia. Russia's lost a lot of people.
Russia has the backing, though, to withstand.
And so doesn't Ukraine?
No, they're out. They're
Ukraine
going
is
in
backing from like the
40-year-olds
entire
now.
EU and from the US.
I mean, they're going to have to recruit 40-year-olds. I mean, they're out of soldiers.
I don't think
They're
they're
out.
out of soldiers.
They're out of soldiers.
I don't think that's true.
It is true. Watch, you'll see it in the next week or so. You'll be like, oh shit! So
I can't
they've
wait.
already pulled back. They've already pulled back and lost a piece of land that they were trying to hold on to. Russia took it immediately. So where's their rebuttal? They haven't done anything yet. So I
Again,
mean, I think it's fair to say that there are forces out there that are in play that we're not privy to this information. This is the deep state. This is what I'm talking about. There's a shift in power within the deep state. And it's apparent because we're all pawns. We're all part of the whole deal. I mean, it's right there in front of you. And if we choose to ignore it, we're going to be part of something that is going to be on the wrong side of history. We're going to be part of something really devastating. We're going to do something to each other.
so again, you're saying that we should go against the US's treaty that they've already signed with Ukraine and stop defending Ukraine. Is that your view?
I think if there's an outlook to be had, then that would be the reason why you would stop the treaty. If you had a desired outcome, which is peace, then that would be
The desired outcome they've established is to stop Russia invading Ukraine. That's the desired outcome.
that's not going to happen.
Ben, thank
Not
you for the
unless we put
$10. I
boots on
appreciate it.
the
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
If we
You want
put
me to
boots
call
on
you
the ground,
comrade,
then
Scott?
I mean, if we put boots on then and go against the Russian army ourselves, because who else is going to do it?
I don't think the
I mean,
U.S.
the
is
rest of
going to
NATO,
put
they're
down
not gonna
troops
do it.
themselves. Scott, the U.S. is not going to put down troops themselves.
Well, that's what it's leading up to be.
Yo, Rich, thank you for the Drake
Wow.
code. Can we get a W,
But
Rich, in the
you
chat?
see, that's what it's leading up to be.
Rich, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I don't see how it's
And getting
leading up
back to
be.
Trump, I mean, let's get back to Trump. I mean, I think all the whatever the indictments that we're throwing out there. I mean, do we know all the indictments? Do you know them all?
No, I wouldn't know them off the top of my head. There's like 91.
Okay, no one does. I mean,
There's
we
91.
don't.
I mean, I guarantee there's some people. I'm not going to know every single one off the top of my head. I mean, there are things that have gotten through. It's not just indictments, right? As it relates to the context of the civil court cases, he was been held liable for essay defamation and for business fraud. You can say that there is an appeal process for these types of things, right? But these are things that have gotten through the court system so far.
Yeah, and it's a shame because you know what that actually did. And Kevin O'Leary went on CNN. You know who Kevin O'Leary is?
Yes.
I mean, he's prominent and he's
Shark
extremely
Tank guy, right?
Yeah, he's extremely smart. I mean, ingenious in the macroeconomics and economics as a whole.
He's
And
a business owner.
his
I don't know
whole
if he's a
thing was that-
macroeconomic specialist, bro.
I mean, he's pretty good. I mean, he's pretty rich and he's successful because he knows how to play the market. You know,
That doesn't mean you understand macroeconomics.
Isn't it all macro? I mean, when it comes to
no, I mean, just because you're a business owner doesn't mean you have a broad understanding of macroeconomics. It
true.
could.
Okay, all right. We'll strike that from the record. But anyway, the interview went as Kevin's basically saying that, you know, because of this decision, why would he invest and take the risk of investing in anything in New York? Because
Trump?
Who's next? He's saying, who's next?
Trump, you mean?
Who are you going to go after next? Is what he's saying with the DA. Who's next that they don't like? Because that's the kind of feel and vibe that came as a direct result of this case. You know, so I mean, New York's got power because he's talking about like what do you call the centers where the computer memory, you know, are what do you call it? Data storage centers. You know, they cost about $3 or $4 billion to make, but they're huge, and you need a steady power flow to make them happen. Well, that's Niagara Falls, so he easily could have made New York the target, and put that $3 to $4 billion piece of you know, employment for the communities, but he's not going to do that now because he's going to go to either Colorado or Oklahoma or other places that have, you know, the power that is necessary for completing this transaction. You know, those are kind of the things that are the direct result and fallout of the witch hunt. Bringing it right back to the beginning, the witch hunt. And it is a witch hunt because this guy has been persecuted. He does enough to incriminate himself.
Trump, you mean?
I mean, Trump does. Trump incriminates Trump.
For real, bro.
Really
For real.
He really does. You know, and we can go on forever and talk about, you know, things that just aren't true. We weren't given the information that is what happened.
Yo, Jackie, thank you for the $15 on Venmo. Thank you so much. Can we hit a W Jackie in the comments? Thank you so much, Jackie. I appreciate it. You said he indicts himself, but you want to vote for him. I mean, why would you want to vote for someone who's done bad things like this? Essay defamation, right? These are things that have gone through. Business fraud. He's been lying about the election for the past few years. 83% of his taxes went to the top 1%. He said he was going to, repeal the ACA and then replace it. Never did that. Right? He said he was going to build the wall. Never did that. He said that he was going to bring more jobs back to the United States. More jobs were outsourced under his administration than brought back. What
you and I cannot understand what it's like to run a corporation like his. Like people like him. I mean, I can't imagine that. Keeping track of all the legalities of everything. Really, I mean, do you think you can do a better job at managing all that shit?
I don't know. I mean, he ran 6 bankruptcies. Appreciate the cap. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. He ran 6 bankruptcies with an inheritance of almost $400 million, right? And then also had a small loan of $1 million. I don't know, man.
I think he made up for the employment that he was successful, you know, commandeering. I mean, he was responsible for other things while those bankruptcies happened. I mean, it's like tit for tat. It's not like he did the bankruptcy and you never saw him again. The guy has stayed in it. And that should show for something. I mean,
okay,
yeah,
so should we vote for should we vote for Bill Gates? Would you vote for Bill Gates?
Oh God, no.
But he's a better businessman.
Not even.
Yes, he is.
He just had a product line that was in the right time and the right place, and it sold a lot.
Isn't that what any business is?
You know, there was a lot of.
Did he get a $200 to $400 million inheritance?
But they're different.
Did he bankrupt businesses. 6 times?
What's that?
Did he bankrupt 6 times?
Yeah, I mean, you're comparing a different type of situation.
Wait, but you're saying Trump, I'm going to vote for him because he's a businessman. But this is a better businessman. And you're like, nah, I don't want to vote for him.
Real estate is a swing in the market. How the market goes is dependent and direct result of how real estate.
I don't know.
reacts.
I think real estate is a safer investment than like starting up a particular
Microsoft?
product company like Microsoft in a
Are
startup
you
and like
kidding
getting
me?
that to blow up. Yeah.
I mean, that. I don't believe that, Parker. I don't believe that for say. You're a very intelligent guy.
The
I don't
likelihood
see
of having a
wrong with
Microsoft
you.
versus doing what Trump did is so much less likely to be the case. I mean, he got hundreds of millions of dollars in inheritance money. Bill Gates, did he get that?
Bill Gates had a solid line of product and to sell to people.
And he didn't bankrupt 6 times.
He didn't have to. That it sold itself.
Most
He didn't
tech
have to.
startups fail, right?
I mean, it's a whole different subject. Real estate is up and down with the market. What Bill Gates had was
Real
something
estate
that made the
goes
market.
wait, real estate goes up long term. Right? That's pretty much the case in most markets, okay?
Right, but when to sell it, when not to sell it.
Okay? So I mean, what about starting up a business, having a product and continuing to go with that? Dude, come on, bro. I think that clearly, right, he's a better candidate, right? Would you vote for Michael Bloomberg?
No. I mean,
They're both better businessmen.
but just like I see football head coaches, just like a DC or an OC, that try to become coaches and they're unsuccessful. Why is that? They're genius in their design of the play, but yet they can't be a coach. Why is that?
Wait, say that one more time.
So you have like an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator. Well, they scheme plays, they run plays, and they're all about the numbers. Okay, well, there have been some genius, offensive coordinators, some genius defensive coordinators that went on to become head coaches. So, and then what happens to most of them is they fail. They're not coaches. So they're not head coaches. So why is that? Most of them fail. They go back to being a DC or an OC. Why is that, do you think?
I don't understand your point.
Well, it's that way because they weren't meant to be a leader. Okay, that's all about leading. That's what coaching is. It's all about leading by example.
Appreciate the cap. Thank you so much.
So there are some examples that Trump would just rather not have in his resume. That's absolutely true to speak. And people make mistakes.
Okay,
But
I'm confused with what you're saying here. Katie, I appreciate the handout. Thank you so much.
He got screwed. And he's the only one in 75 years to have this decision handed down to him.
L. Trump.
What do you think about that?
L. Trump.
Yeah. Huh?
L. Trump.
I mean, don't you think that's a little unfair? I mean, what?
How is it unfair? Can
him?
you explain to me how it's unfair he quite literally, again, if you look at this, the only thing that was changed is the statute of limitations. That doesn't change whether or not he engaged in the action. So you don't want someone to be held accountable. Right? Let me ask you the question. You don't want someone to be held accountable in that scenario?
What was that? Sorry.
You don't want someone to be held accountable in that scenario.
He is being held accountable and he's working through it. I mean, what do you want him to do?
So you do want him to be held accountable?
He is.
No, I'm asking you. No, I'm not asking you if he is. I'm asking you, do you want him to?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you want Trump to be held accountable. What's your point, man?
Well, I mean, I don't know what.
Why do you want to vote for someone that you want to be held accountable for the crime that he committed?
And he is. Obviously, he is. I mean, you can't, get out of that one because he's taken responsibility for his mistakes, and I think that's integrity.
Yeah. So, I mean, you want to vote for someone that's been proven to have engaged in SA, a fraudster, and who's a defamer? You want to vote for him?
If you're making restitution and you're taking accountability and being responsible for it, yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
do.
If Trump raped someone and then was taking accountability for it after, would you then still vote for him?
That's not a fair thing because
I'm asking if you would still vote for him because sexual abuse is apparently not enough for you.
That whole case is drawn up, and that's another appeal that he's going to win. I mean,
so
I'm
if,
sorry.
if there was a grape case, if there was a grape case, you'd be
like,
like, that's fake. That's not taking accountability. Calling it fake is not taking accountability. Not accepting the results of a fair and democratic election is not taking accountability. You think Trump is the one to take accountability? Get a fucking grip, dude.
he's taking
You gotta be kidding
accountability
me, dude.
for his actions.
Dude, he's been lying about the election for the past few years. He doesn't take accountability for shit. What are you talking about, bro? He literally doesn't admit that he did sexual abuse. Appreciate the finger hearts. Thank you so much. He's just paying the money. He thinks he's still claiming he didn't do it. What do you mean he's taking accountability?
He
Get a fucking
groped
grip.
that woman. I mean, he groped her.
So
Is that sexual abuse?
did he say that he engaged in sexual abuse? Did he say that?
No.
Oh, so he's not taking accountability. Thank you.
Well, no, he didn't do it.
Oh, so he's not taking accountability. Jen, I appreciate the hearts buff. Thank you so much.
He's taking accountability for his side.
You just lied, bro. You just lied. You said he's taking accountability
for his side in it.
You just said he's taking accountability, but then he's also claiming that he didn't do it. That's quite literally the very opposite
He
of
didn't
taking
do it in
accountability.
the context that they're blaming him for.
So he's
Okay,
not
they
taking
took it
accountability.
and twisted it around.
So he's
they
not
even
taking
changed
wait,
the
wait,
law.
so he's not taking accountability.
He is though.
No, he's not. He's saying he didn't do it, but he's taking accountability. I'm like, what? What is
Well-
this double standard? What are you talking about, bro?
I think everything's been kind of twisted, to the facts. And you and I could
Yo,
spend
Jackie, thank you so much for the meteor shower. I appreciate it, Jackie. Thank you so much.
all night long, on and argue back and forth on what the facts are. And
No, we
I
don't have
think-
to argue back and forth. The facts are already there. Appreciate
the
heart
jury
buff.
got
Thank
it
you so
wrong.
much.
And
Oh,
juries
okay,
do
so
get it wrong.
What did they get wrong, Scott? Tell me.
Well, when they presented the case, the burden of proof is on the prosecution. So they had to prove something exactly the way it is written.
Oh, and
So
what did they
that's
do?
why they changed the law.
What did the jury determine? Did the jury say that he sexually abused Eugene Carroll?
That's that they changed the law to make it like that. I mean, groping.
No.
is now
Did the
sexual
jury?
abuse.
Did the jury? No, that they changed the law to then be able to put it in court in the first place because it was past the statute of limitations. But let me ask you about this: did the jury say that he sexually abused Eugene Carroll?
Under what they changed the law to in those guidelines?
They changed the
Yes.
statute of limitations, but and then the jury was able to look at it. The jury then concluded what? That he essayed Eugene Carroll. So are you saying that the jury is corrupt?
I am.
The jury is corrupt. Really?
And that's happened before. I mean, it's not the first time.
What evidence do you have of that, Scott?
Because you look at the way
What you'd say
people are.
Scott, you'd say this exact same bullshit if there was a grape case. If he was convicted, if he was literally held liable for grape, or he was held liable for, even
If there was
convicted-
proof, I'm
If
sorry.
he was convicted for it, you'd still be in here defending him, and you'd be like, the jury is corrupt.
Not if there was proof. If there was proof.
There was proof
Of course.
given. Why do
Huh?
you think? Why do you think the jury said that he sexually abused Eugene Carroll? Because there was proof given the court's preponderance of evidence. Ryan, thank you for
So
the
you
dollar
don't
on Cash
think
App.
there
Thank you
was
so much,
a-
Ryan.
You don't think she
Scott, let me ask you this question: Why
was
did
consensual?
if Trump didn't do this? Why didn't he submit DNA?
Because he didn't do it.
Oh, if he didn't do it, why didn't he submit DNA?
Right. Why would he submit DNA?
No, why wouldn't he submit DNA?
I can't answer that. I mean, why wouldn't
Because then
you?
his DNA wouldn't come up, right?
Did they ask him for it?
Yeah.
And
did
he said, no,
accept
I'm
it?
not going to submit it.
Yeah, he said no.
Well, okay, well, why wouldn't they go after and subpoena that and make him submit DNA?
Past statute of limitations, I'm pretty sure. I'd have to check back though.
That's probably a critical piece in that whole scenario right there. I mean, it really comes down to the facts that are at hand here and what actually happened. We don't know. I don't know. You don't know. You know, only two people that know are two people that were in that moment in time.
Yeah.
So it's just really hard to say, you know, if what we deem.
Hey, Scott. I appreciate the heart puff. Thank you so much. You know the DNA case could exonerate him, right? So if he is not guilty, why doesn't he submit his DNA?
I think it was a move. It was a plotted move.
Yeah, a plotted move to manipulate people.
If you put yourself out there,
so again, he would have. If he didn't do it, he clearly would have fucking given his DNA. I'm sorry, that's so fucking real, dude. What do you mean they wouldn't have given his DNA?
Think about it. You put your DNA out there, okay, and maybe his DNA somehow. There was definitely something happened between the two of them, but it was consensual, and we know that.
Oh, okay. Right? So now, so before he didn't do anything. Now they did something, but it was consensual.
I didn't say that.
Before you said he didn't do it. The jury's lying.
He didn't
and
do
now
it in the context
they did, but it's consensual. You see how the story changed?
But
why did he say that? Wait, if they did do something, why did he say that he didn't know who she was?
That's just Trump being Trump right there.
Anything he does, you're out there in his beck and call, defending the fuck out of this guy, bro. What are you doing?
I just expect that from Trump.
He didn't know her, but then he also mistook her for his ex-wife.
Okay, but you cannot know someone and have something with someone. Can you not?
Oh, okay. So he sexually abused her, right? I appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much. And just forgot.
That is the sexual abuse thing. That is the term that they're trying to coin there, and it wasn't abuse.
Oh, it wasn't. And what evidence do you have of that?
Well, just the way that they carried out the entire trial.
How so? Tell me what specifically.
I think when he said he didn't know her, that was his ego just saying, "Yeah, you're not worth it."
Appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much. But he did know her.
He didn't know her.
So he didn't know who she was.
It was like one of those passerby things.
Scott, so he had no clue who she was.
I don't know that.
But at the same time of not knowing who she was, he also mistook her for his ex-wife.
Yeah, that's
no Freudian slip there. He took a picture with her, right?
A clear.
Did they have pictures?
I don't know. Did they?
So he did know her. Appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, so they knew each other after they had an encounter of some sort.
That's when they had the encounter. Like what?
Okay,
what?
So how can we say that something like that, and the worst comes out of it? When a woman's looking at a guy that seems to be a guy of power and wealth, I'm sorry, they're pretty amazed by that. And that's a lure for most women.
Yeah, so he can use that to take advantage of women.
Well,
it seems like he did. It seems like he did.
Promiscuity came through as a result of the.
So you're just blaming her for being promiscuous, apparently? She got essayed by Trump and she's. Oh my God, dude. You see this type of shit? You're literally trying to paint her as promiscuous to make it seem like she wanted this when it quite literally was sexual abuse. It quite literally was sexual abuse. The jury reported on it, and you're out here defending this man, victim blaming her, right? Saying that she wanted it because she was promiscuous. That's fucking crazy. This is a crazy view.
No, not at all. I'm generalizing people in general. Okay, and their behaviors when confronted with power and wealth. I'm sorry, you're a different freaking person. Okay, money does that to people. It has that power to change people. And I believe that's what happened. It changed the whole thing for that moment in time or whatever happened. I don't know what happened. Okay, and Trump doesn't want to.
You're trying to paint this picture that she wanted it by saying that she's promiscuous. That is your way of trying to take away accountability applied to Trump for this. That's your way of trying to do that. And there's no sufficient evidence to demonstrate that he literally did this consensually. He quite literally was claiming he didn't know who she was. So if it was consensual, why would he claim that he didn't know who she was when there was picture evidence of it?
Maybe because he was married at the time, right?
Oh, so he's lying about another thing. So he's a cheater and a liar. And now you're believing the cheater and liar? Really? Wow, Scott, it's almost like every single characteristic that you mentioned of Trump specifically indicts him even further. So now he's a liar repeatedly. Really?
You know, those are things that happened in the past.
Okay, but all you've done is make his particular character look even worse. Now, actually, he's the promiscuous one.
I just think it was a moment.
He's the one cheating on his wife. He's the promiscuous one. So you're painting her as promiscuous, but actually, it sounds like it was him.
But that's not for me to judge.
Oh, really?
I can't judge that.
If it's not for you to judge, then leave it up to the jury. And if you leave it up to the jury, what happens? What did the jury do? What did the jury say? Did the jury say that he sexually abused her?
The way they put the whole case, in the way they framed it,
simple answer: yes. The jury said that he sexually abused her. And if that is the case, and you can't judge, and the jury's the only one you can judge, seems like you come to that conclusion. So why do you want to vote for a proven fraudster, a proven sexual abuser, someone who's been lying about the election for the past few years, someone who sent 83% of taxes to the top 1%, someone who claimed that only some of the people who are Mexican coming across the border are good people, who claimed that there were good people on both sides that related to Charlottesville, when there was a group of white supremacists that you're referencing who literally said the Central Park Five should receive the death penalty, and when they were exonerated, did not even apologize for it. You really want to vote for a man who's done all these specific things?
I think I'd look at his actions now, you know, and the way he carries himself now, and just, I mean, he is
so almost like the Muslim ban
for this stuff.
So we want to talk about the Muslim ban, or are we going to say that's in the past too? So some of these things I just referenced were literally in his presidential run. So are we going to say that's all done in the past?
He's messing up to this stuff, is he not? He's got to pay this money.
He didn't own up to it. He didn't own up to the Central Park Five thing. He never apologized for saying they should receive the death penalty when they were exonerated.
You phrase things in a way that you think it should be all cookie cutter and you know, ABC, and that's just not how life works.
ABC, it's easy as 1, 2, 3, as simple as rate me. You know the right answer. It's right in front of you.
He's got flaws, but you know, he's got policy also that I agree with. I agree with the policy.
What policy, Scott?
Well, he believes in the Constitution. Okay, he wants to amend.
What in the Constitution does he agree with?
Huh? What part of it?
Yeah,
it's the 14th Amendment. He wants to make natural birth citizens or people who are born in this country to an illegal alien. He doesn't want them to be automatic citizen. That's the only thing he wants to change.
Wait, didn't he want to get rid of the Constitution?
No, not at all. He's never said that. Ever.
Really?
Yeah, if you could bring that up, by all means, let me have it. But he's never said that. Ever. He does want to amend the 14th Amendment, though, stating that an illegal birthing a baby in the United States would illegal.
So he said terminate parts of the Constitution over election results. So he literally did that.
You know, those are ongoing issues right now that are constantly changing. So, I mean, we can't even argue about those because it's so convoluted right now. You know, it's a state by state situation.
So he wants to suspend the Constitution, but he agrees with it.
He never said that. What do you mean suspend the Constitution? How do you suspend the Constitution?
There's a fact check on this. I can send you one from Newsweek right now, a fact check on it. I can send you stuff from
You can't suspend the Constitution.
From Politico, The Hill, PBS, CNN, The New Yorker, CBS.
For whoever's fucking elected. Whoever's elected, if we don't stand firm on the Constitution, we're going to lose it all. That's all we have to bring us together.
I can send you a Fox News article right now.
Oh, fuck. I don't believe Fox. I don't believe CNN. I don't believe any of those guys. They are, I mean, he'll call it fake news. I'll call it just the mainstream media. These are parts of the deep state that I'm talking about. They have a say.
Now they're not even accepting
Everyone
Fox,
gets
Jack.
their piece.
Now they're not even accepting Fox. It seems like they're all backed into OAN.
I mean,
One American News Network.
Everyone gets their piece. Okay, what do you think this $95 billion that was supposed to go to Ukraine was going to be all about? $95 fucking billion. That's a lot of money.
Why did Trump give hundreds of billions of dollars in tax cuts to people making over $500,000 a year, increasing to the federal deficit?
That's not what he's about right now.
Do you want me to give you proof? You want to put money on it? He increased the federal deficit to almost $1 trillion pre-COVID from around $380 billion a year.
You can't. I mean, COVID came in. I mean, you can't.
I said pre-COVID, Scott.
Do you think that was the wrong move?
Yeah.
At the time?
Yeah. Giving money to millionaires. Yeah. I would rather make sure that people have access to healthcare, education, childcare, something like that, rather than giving money to millionaires. You know what I mean? I would rather not give money to millionaires, and I'd rather give money to people who need things.
The thing about the rich and the 1%, they shouldn't even be billionaires. There shouldn't be billionaires in our studied model. I mean, they really shouldn't. They've got to do so much to make $1 billion. I mean, it really is out of touch. And I wish we could really see that.
Trump's a billionaire,
there's
right?
something really flawed.
So Trump is out of touch.
I think
Trump shouldn't exist.
I'll criticize that. I'll be a critic of that. Absolutely. So,
you're sounding like Bernie Sanders to me.
But there's other things that he is.
You're sounding like Bernie to me. You're not sounding like Trump. You're not sounding like a Republican. You're not sounding like Republicans that cut social programs, right? That help the middle class. You're not sounding like a Republican that cuts taxes for the rich.
There is no middle class.
You're sounding like a social democrat, right? That thinks that there shouldn't be billionaires. That thinks that I think that there can be billionaires. I don't think there's an issue with there being.
Well, there shouldn't be so many. There's over 650 in the United States. I think there's an
issue with accountability as it relates to our system. I think there's an issue with bargaining as it relates to our system.
There's too many.
I don't think there's just necessarily like a you get rid of billionaires and you fix our problems type thing. I don't think that's the fix to our problems.
Okay,
but I do think that there's a way in which you can regulate our current structure right now that would reduce the concentration of wealth, that would reduce the income inequality that has existed in the U.S., that has dismantled the middle class. Okay, and that's often due to the policies, the trickle-down policies that Trump is quite literally supporting in his tax policy that you're helping happen.
Is he still?
Yeah, the Trump tax cuts, 83% of taxes went to the top 1%. That's trickle-down policy.
He's also taking away the payroll
tax, destroying the middle class.
But he's taking away the payroll tax. I mean, that's a big one.
How is he going to subsequently fund that? How does he fund the budget by getting rid of the payroll tax? Tell me.
You get rid of certain programs.
Oh, what programs is he going to get rid of now?
Dude, there are just a plethora of.
Tell me the one he's going to get rid of. Tell me the ones. Which ones? Is he going to cut food supplemental programs for people that need help? Is he going to cut unemployment insurance? Is he going to cut food security programs? Is he going to cut income security programs? Is he going to cut Social Security? Is he going to reduce the funding for Medicare, Medicaid? Is he going to reduce veterans benefits? Is he going to reduce? What is he going to reduce? Tell me, Scott.
Climate change.
Oh, he's
Okay,
going to
that is
reduce
the most expensive thing out there right now.
Scott. So he's going to increase negative externalities as it relates to climate change because it is the case that he doesn't want to hold corporations and fossil fuel industry accountable for the actions they engage in. So you know what that does? That
No,
negatively
he
impacts
just
the middle
doesn't want
class
to kill
because you know who's
as quick.
impacted. You know who around the world is impacted by the negative externalities as it relates to pollution. People in the middle class. That's who's negatively
No,
impacted.
I mean that's why the middle class is. I mean, manufacturing's out, and
Do
now
you think
coal-
that Bill Gates, do you think that people, all these polluters, right, all these billionaire polluters, do you think Trump, right, is going to be negatively impacted by climate change? Or do you think it's going to be the middle class? Do you think it's going to be climate refugees around the entire world? Or do you think it's going to be people in Indonesia and Africa, right, in South or in Central America, right, people that are not in the US who are polluting?
I think that the model as it stands right now, with climate change, is too fast of a transition. Okay, it would kill economies.
No,
And
you can
anyone
engage in a
who knows-
wait. Dude, how would it kill the economy? Well, if you engage in a carbon tax specifically, that can change the externality to be on the the internalization of the externalities to be on the polluters, right? Therefore, disincentivizing them to engage in pollution, which would then allow us to achieve these different types of goals, like reduction in carbon emissions by 2035 or by 2050, right? By
That's way too fast.
disincentivizing pollution. No,
way
it's
too
not.
fast.
You can provide the economically efficient outcome while engaging in a carbon tax because you are
Well, the
engaging
problem
in a
with that
tax.
is that you have other
You're
countries,
engaging in a
like China,
Pigouvian tax
India.
specifically meant to internalize these externalities on the producers.
Yeah,
of the
but
polluters.
if China and India aren't playing the game, or South America, they're not playing the game.
The U.S. needs to
it
lead the
doesn't do it
world.
good.
The U.S. needs to lead the world, right? If the U.S. doesn't lead the world, how do you expect any of these other countries to do so?
We are leading the world. Look what we're doing.
No, we're not. We are
a
not
lot
leading the
more
world
than
because people like Trump are denying the effects of human-caused climate change.
Yeah, I think I concur with that. I mean,
By the
I
way,
don't think there's enough data out there.
can I ask you a question? What renewable policy specifically, right, or subsidies related to renewable energy will you get rid of to be able to afford getting rid of the payroll tax? Please tell me.
Oh, God, I don't know.
Because we don't spend enough on renewable energy right now to
What
get
about
rid of the
Planned
payroll
Parenthood?
tax. Wait, we don't spend enough money right now on renewable energy or subsidies for renewable energy to get rid of the payroll tax and still fund everything based upon what we currently spend into renewable energies.
Well, if
So
we
you have
become
no clue
more
what you're talking
self-
about. You know what's going to happen? Trump is going to put a subsequent tax on people who are in the middle class, right? And you know who's going to get money? Rich people again. Rich people again. That's who's going to get the money.
I beg to differ. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I mean, that's just, I mean, there's too much at stake right now with our system as it is. We have over 8.5 million illegals in this country now. We have to ask, why is that happening? And why
There's
are
less. Wait. There's less undocumented immigrants in the.
33,000
Wait,
Chinese
Scott. This is
nationals.
so disingenuous. There's less undocumented immigrants in the country right now than there was in the early 2000s.
That's not true.
You want to bet?
I mean, 8.5 million.
Pew
squeezed
Research.
in.
Look it up right now on Pew Research. Pew Research.
I did, and it comes out to being, break it down to each ethnicity group. You've got them all lined out and who's here. And we don't know actually who is here, but we know the groups. We know the gangs. We know that we've got trouble. There's been trouble now with the law in Minnesota, in Pennsylvania, in New York, in Florida, in Texas. There's already been migrants, doing stuff.
Can you read to me this graph off real quick? Can you
What's it
tell me what
say?
this is relating to?
What's it say? I can't read it.
Number of
What's it say?
unauthorized immigrants in the United States, and you can see as a percentage of the population in the early 2000s, right? There was a higher rate of undocumented immigrants in the country.
Coming in or as
No, this is
total?
in the country. This is in the country.
We're just marking a 3-year period.
This is a Pew Research estimate, and Pew Research is very, very credible.
Well, I also see that you have a bracket of time that you're going on, and that doesn't line up to what we've actually tracked in now. I mean, they're different.
Well, can you give
scopes.
me any sources that indicate specifically that that it's like higher now? Because again, I don't think we have numbers right now. I think that's just a conjecture point.
It is a hypothetical. I mean, it's a guesstimation.
It's yeah, but like if it's just conjecture and we're not even getting it through like a process of estimation, well then it seems like we don't have very good numbers on this. And if we don't have very good numbers on this, it seems like you can't make a conclusion on this.
We know where we're housing them.
We're housing documented migrants.
Undocumented. I mean,
no, we're housing documented migrants. These are authorized immigrants.
Okay, so they're not illegal.
No.
They've gone through the process and naturalization.
The legal asylum process, yes. I appreciate the hanging lights. Thank you so much.
I see what you're saying. So these are people that we have kept. They're not the catch and release. They're the actual people that we've documented in, and
they're legal migrants. Yes.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that there's been, a lot of, so to speak, just unfavorables. I mean, people that we don't.
Thank you for the money again. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I mean,
undocumented migrants are
stuck up or anything, but
Scott, undocumented and documented migrants.
Country here, you're going to become the third world.
Undocumented migrants and documented migrants are less likely to commit violent crime than natural-born U.S. citizens. I can give you a source from PNAS.org.
Not when they're gangs. Not when they're coming up as gangs.
No, for all of undocumented immigrants, all of documented migrants, as a percentage of the population, commit crimes at lower rates.
In what type of setting? I mean,
in Texas.
What's going on in this country?
In general. Look this up right now. Comparing crime rates between undocumented immigrants, legal immigrants, and native-born U.S. citizens in Texas. And right here, I will demonstrate to you that undocumented migrants and documented migrants are multiple times less likely to commit violent crime. So if you're scared about documented and undocumented migrants, appreciate the handout. Thank you so much. If you're talking about documented and undocumented migrants committing crime, well, they're less likely to. They're less likely.
Okay, so you have to tell me what
by
country
having undocumented and let me finish. By having documented and undocumented migrants coming into the country, that is reducing the crime rate.
If it it's dependent on what country they come from. Okay, Ecuador is.
This is from overall. This is overall.
Right now.
This is overall.
I mean, these migrants have come from pretty unstable situations. All right, so they're coming in with a chip, and I just don't think that's good. I mean, we've already got things that are going on as a result of the. I don't know how you got that demographic, but it's not really accurate to what's going on now. We have to be cognizant of that.
This is accurate.
We're going to be in trouble.
Hey, Scott, you're quite literally lying. Okay, this is very accurate. I've literally showed you evidence and reason to believe that to be true, right here.
You have shown me evidence. I just I want to question, where you get your information, and I want to be able to get information. I can't read who it's coming from.
PNAS.
PNAS. Okay. Well, I'll look that up. I mean, it's really hard to narrow in on the exact facts of anything that we talk about. What we have to do is we have to look and be diligent of what's going on around us. I mean, we're seeing it. If it's happening, then it's happening. I mean, if things are pretty much out of balance, things are out of balance. Why is the country giving people that aren't in this country money when we've got a problem with our own citizens? That just doesn't make any sense to me at all. You think?
Why are we giving other countries when we have our own problems? Why did Trump give foreign aid to other countries when we had problems here in the U.S.? Trump gave foreign aid too.
Right, but the problems have exacerbated. I mean, they're a lot worse than they were.
Appreciate that mustache. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So why didn't you say that at that time period? Why didn't you bring it up? Because now it's a Republican talking point.
I mean, you can make that argument, but the bottom line is it's gotten worse. It's gotten a lot worse.
Okay, but we were already giving a lot of foreign aid prior.
We have
doing this all the time.
We have always done that. That's where
Yeah,
that's
but
all
like
part of
again,
the
why
deep
weren't we
state
helping our
there.
own population? Why did Trump give hundreds of billions of dollars in tax cuts to millionaires instead of actually helping homeless people or helping people who want to start families,
You
helping people that
can't.
want to buy homes, helping people that need health care?
I don't think you can prove that he was just all about the millionaires. I mean,
83%
that's
of
so
his
wrong
tax
to
cuts and his
say.
tax policy overall through the tax policy went to people who make over $500,000 a year. The top 1%.
They're not the top 1%. $500,000.
$500,000 and plus a year is the top 1%.
They're the top 3%. I mean,
No,
that
it's the top
1%
1%.
is in the millions.
No, it's not.
I mean, the median house, I mean, medium to be middle class, you have to be making clearing 180 to 220,000
Appreciate the cap. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
just to even get into the lower end of middle class.
CNBC reports 526,000 average income for over 1% for top 1%.
Okay. All right.
You can get that from there if you'd like.
No, I believe you. I mean, I can believe that. It's not gonna change my argument though. I mean, it's just. I mean, I just don't see him with as much people that are on his radar that are invested in him. I just don't see him getting away with something that's going to screw him.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
Wait, say that again?
There's checks and balances, man. Everything's put into place.
I'm not disputing this checks and balances. I don't know what your point is with that.
It's all about checks and balances. If we don't monitor that and we just still let the deep state run with it, we're going to war with Russia. Guaranteed. Biden will put us in World War III. Trump won't.
Okay, how will Biden put us in World War III and Trump won't?
Because Biden wants to keep giving Ukraine weapons.
And Trump wouldn't.
No, Trump's not going
So Trump would go against, again, the treaty. How would that impact future U.S.
We didn't
foreign
sign a
policy?
treaty saying we were going to give them weapons.
We said that we would defend them.
Okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're giving them weapons.
Yes, it does. Because how else are we going to defend them?
We put boots on the ground. I mean, they're other ways.
That would start a direct war then.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to.
You want to start a direct war?
But it's evolving
Wow,
into that.
That sounds like a great plan.
Well, that treaty, whoever signed that treaty, I mean, who signed that?
Who signed the treaty?
Yeah, who was the originator?
I forget the person at the time. I have to check with who
Someone from Turkey? Or someone from Turkey, wasn't it? That moderated that whole thing. And Johnson came in there and blew the whole deal up. I think. I don't even think that treaty's accurate or valid. Is it?
Yeah, it is valid.
You sure about that? Because I
Yes.
do remember hearing there was a
Scott, I'm positive.
How Johnson, his final days in being prime minister was contingent on his actions in that meeting.
Why
I
wouldn't
do
it be
believe
valid?
Something happened like that.
Why wouldn't it be valid?
I don't think it ever got signed by the participants that were engaged in that quorum.
It never got signed. It was signed.
I'm going to look that one up too.
Okay.
Because I mean, that's I mean, regardless, if something's going to draw us into a war, we have to look at that. What's the motive behind it all? What it really is the motive.
Yeah, of course we need to look at the motive. This is geopolitical reasons, and we have a treaty. Like we want to set precedents for like China, Taiwan, or other nuclear superpowers in terms of the countries that exist around them. This is meant to reduce conflict in the future.
We actually hurt our chances of unification if we get into this type of a situation.
So how? Because how is anyone going to trust our treaties?
We have to look at the reasons for the treaty, and you have to look at what is the treaty doing.
Okay, the
Okay,
reasons for the treaty was that
I mean, really.
we said that we would defend Ukraine if they were to get rid of their nukes. They got rid of their nukes. We are now have to defend Ukraine.
See, there was something else that was involved in that whole thing. I mean, there had to have been, because I mean,
I don't know what you'd be saying is relevant then.
I just don't understand, why would we do that though? If it means ultimate confrontation with Russia, why would you do that?
Again, because there's a treaty, right? And it's
But
a
they're not
proxy
part of
war, so
NATO.
it's not like
Ukraine's not part
it's
of NATO.
but it's still a treaty. It's still the U.S.'s word.
But we're focused on NATO and our NATO allies. We're not focused
that
on
doesn't
people who
take
are
away
not
from the
our
fact
NATO.
that there's a treaty.
That treaty is it has to be, there has to be, stipulations or things around it that surround it that give it a certain I don't know, how what we can supply, what we can do as far as defense. I mean, we're not in a position to defend Ukraine right now. We're really not. We are depleted, man. Almost all of our resources with the Afghanistan, where we left $90 billion worth of stuff over in Afghanistan.
Name one
high
conflict, Scott, name one conflict we engage in where we didn't leave stuff. And also we destroyed all of that.
We left way more than we ever left.
Okay, give me in terms of proportionalities.
I mean, I don't know those numbers.
Okay, so then how do you determine that? You whipped the thing right out of your ass, you threw it at the wall and hope it stuck.
I talked out my ass on that, but did you? I mean, how?
Dude, at least you admit it. At least you admit it,
I mean, you got to talk out your ass every once in a while, and I don't know.
No, you shouldn't.
I know that it's been recorded that we left over $75 billion worth of military equipment in Afghanistan. It's been documented. But as far as the other wars, I mean, I don't know where those documents are. I mean, I don't know where those facts are. I don't know if it's actually happened. Do you?
Yeah. So, like, as it relates, like, what documents?
Well, like, I mean, is it documented that we leave our military equipment behind?
Yes.
Like a lot of it.
Yes.
Really? Where? I mean, I
Vietnam.
We just had to get the hell out of there.
So in 1973, the U.S. left behind $5 billion worth of military equipment.
Okay, and that's probably a little bit more, 25, 30 million in today's value.
30 billion.
That's not billions.
That is billion. That is, dude, that's billion. I said billion.
Oh, you said billion.
And that's back then, dude, in 73, with stagflation and
another reason to keep an eye on the deep state and the military industrial complex. I mean, that's
but you understand it would have cost more money to bring it back.
Oh, to bring it back.
Yeah, that's why they do that. So you don't want them to spend money. Well, now you want them to spend more money?
Well, I mean, right now our resources are depleted, and that's been documented. That's been out in reports. We just don't have the resources right now to take on, if we got to go to war. I mean, that would be a horrible situation for us. We would lose our position with China, with India, with most of the European nations.
What resources are depleted?
Huh?
Wait, we would lose relations with these countries. Wouldn't we lose relations with these countries if we didn't hold up to our treaty? And our military is an abundance of resources that we were literally able to reallocate parts of our military and engage in the usage of loans. So, like, you understand that we're going to get interest with this, right?
Right. Well, I mean, NATO's kind of a thing where it seems to me like we're doing all the contribution. I mean, we're paying for it. These other countries are not.
You could say other countries should pay a little bit more, but I just like I don't understand what the whole point of voting for Trump based upon that would be. Because like,
I think it's just one aspect of him being cognizant of situations. The way we pulled out of Afghanistan might have been less favorable when we see people jumping off the planes, because they want to leave. We're leaving them to an oppressive, aggressive regime. And that's what happened. So that was not right.
So do you think that wouldn't have happened under a Trump administration?
I absolutely believe that. There's ways to withdraw.
And can you give me any reason Trump would have done that? Yo, Chris, thank you for the $5 on Cash App. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate it.
I do believe Trump would have taken, he would have had different heads of his, of the military industrial complex. He'd have different people making different types of decisions.
Yeah, but that's all conjecture for you just to say that it would be.
Yeah, it is. But I do firmly believe that it wouldn't have happened like that with Trump.
Yeah, you firmly believe that, but what reason do we have to believe this?
Because it's part of the America first. It's about taking care of us.
Isn't that just another conjecture point? And if he was taking care of us, why would he? Why would Trump send foreign aid to other countries? Why would Trump increase military drone strikes by 450%? Why would Trump assassinate a top military general in another country? Why would Trump increase the amount of spending on the military rather than using it on us at home?
Those are all questions that have already been answered.
How come Trump would use $140 million of taxpayer money on golf trips in 4 years when Obama used $80 million in 8?
Come on, dude.
And claim that he's some sort of great guy for giving up his $400,000 a year presidential salary.
Awesome, Parker. I love it. You're awesome. It's just it is what it is, and I think we can safely say that Biden right now is having some issues. Okay, whether it be his condition,
Mary, thank you for the $5 on Cash App. Thank you so much, Mary.
Or the decisions he's making with
what condition and what decisions.
Well, I mean, the whole migrant, the whole not close. I mean, doing something with the border. Why the over influx of people coming in?
He right now wants to pass something as it relates to the Senate to close the border. The Republicans blocked it.
Because he wants to put a spending bill with Ukraine. Why is it so important?
There's called what's it called? Bipartisanship, right? They're supposed to like work together, come to a conclusion together.
But a lot of people see it the way I see with Ukraine. It's not our place to be. And that treaty, I'm sorry, that treaty is something that I just, there's something about it that doesn't seem right.
What about it doesn't seem right, bruv?
Well, I just think that where there's information that you don't have, and there's information that I don't have about that treaty.
Like what information do you think it could be?
I don't know. Because, I mean, it's a pretty big commitment.
There's some information we don't know that means that somehow we'd be able to go against it. Yeah, I don't see really good reason for that.
That's a big commitment. That's money. That's resources. Those are things that...
Yeah, and this is a loan. We're going to get that money back.
We're not getting it back.
Yeah, we will. Plus interest.
Are you kidding me? How are you going to pay back?
Because it's a loan.
Yeah, but we don't ever see a payback. No one ever pays us back.
Yeah, they do.
Do they really?
Yes.
China might pay us back for some things. I don't see anyone else paying us back. Maybe England. But I don't see anyone else.
Name one country that didn't pay us back.
I would say probably Ecuador. Maybe didn't pay us back.
That's you pulled that right out of your ass, didn't you? Yeah, that was a bullshit claim.
I totally pulled that. Good call. Good call. It's a crazy world we live in, Parker. I mean, it's just, I don't think it would be, pepper and salt and pepper when it comes to Trump. I think it would be something that would always keep us talking about stuff. Because he is like that. He's theatrical. He's got that type of charisma that is either going to rub you wrong or you're going to love it. I mean, there's no in between, but it keeps people engaged. And I think if he is trying to be accountable, he is trying to make up for his mistakes in the way that he's making, doing it. I think that should mean something. It should mean something if he's going to be shelling out $400 million. It's actually more
Appreciate
than
the dollar. Thank you so much, Shannon.
Woman's getting 80.
Wait. It's not for you to judge, but then Trump judges Hunter all the time. How does he do that? Trump judges Hunter all the time, right?
Yeah, I can't step into that. I'm not going to answer that. I mean, I don't think, really the ultimate judge is God. God is the ultimate judge.
Oh, okay. So I have a question with you on this. Would Jesus pick Trump or Biden?
That's an awesome question. I think he would pick the guy who wants to be forgiven. And that would be Trump.
What, dude? You think really Trump wants to be forgiven? Biden is a practicing Catholic.
I think he's getting his ass kicked.
Scott, Biden's a practicing Catholic. He goes to church all the time. Does Trump go to church all the time? Worse. Trump claims he's a Christian, but doesn't even really go to church.
I believe in that.
Biden actually goes.
That scares me.
Biden is actually practicing.
I'm scared of the Catholics, dude. I'm scared of Islam. Those are two extremes.
Catholics are Christians, you know that, right?
Yes, they are, but they're also pretty scary over there. The whole Vatican, all that stuff, what they know and what they've been influenced to, or what they've influenced, is pretty groundbreaking. I mean, they have stopped a lot of stuff as far as our knowledge to know stuff. To understand what's in this world has been stopped by religion.
Oh, so why don't you apply that to your own religion?
I'm not religious. I believe in a God greater than myself, but I'm not religious.
What does religion mean?
Religion is the faith of one's idea, or the practicing
faith and worship in a supernatural being that created the universe, and that's what you have.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
So, I mean, then
Potato,
I have my
thank you for the $5 on Cash App. Thank you so much.
Man, that's awesome. I'm just in the crossroads in my life right now. And it really, really just permeates from that. I mean, I do believe in God, and I have a hard time with the Bible.
Thank you so much. Would Trump vote for a proven sexual abuser, fraudster, lying about the election? Would he vote for that? Would Jesus do that?
I think Jesus would, because he's on the path. Trump's on the path of bettering himself. I mean, really, what has he done lately?
Is Biden not?
Biden scares me, dude. Biden's part of.
So you're scared of Biden? Are you fucking for real?
Yeah, I'm scared of his indecision, the fact that he's got the codes, the fact that I just don't.
You're scared more of Biden having the codes than Trump?
Absolutely. Trump doesn't want to blow things up. He likes.
And you're saying you think Biden's incompetent, but he's competent enough to blow things up.
Biden's on his way out. I mean, they're both on.
Wait. So he's incompetent, but he's competent enough to blow things up.
Well, when he's not competent to stand trial, I mean, you got to question that.
No, he didn't willfully retain the documents, right? In the same way that they would say Trump did.
Right. So a medical examiner says he's not able to stand.
That was a medical examiner. But yeah, they claim that he's a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory, right? You could describe me to have a poor memory.
Okay. I mean, does Trump have a bad memory?
Yeah. He literally mistook E. Jean Carroll for his ex-wife.
And when was that?
This was recent. I can send you something on this. I don't remember the date.
So they're both old.
Yeah.
Trump's 77, Biden's 81. Trump's going to be 81 if he does this term. by the time he's done with his term. You know, I mean, and we're still in the area of these are the
it seems like January 19th,
ever had.
2023, around that time.
I mean, these are the oldest presidents we've ever had. So, I mean, we're kind of in trouble. I mean, what? Who's after this? Really? Who's after this?
Wait, say that
Who's
again.
after Trump or who's after Biden?
Likely like Ron DeSantis or what's this, or like Vivek or someone like that
Vivek?
for the Republican Party, and then for the Democratic Party, there's Buttigieg, there's Gavin Newsom,
Booker.
yeah, Booker. There's plenty of people. I actually think it's gonna be Gavin Newsom.
You think what?
I think it's gonna be Gavin Newsom for 2028.
Really?
That's my guess. Yeah.
People just have a bad look on California. I don't know if he could ever escape that.
I think he can. I don't know. California is one of the best economies in the world. So California
Says who?
subsidizes a bunch of the red states. It's the fifth economy in the world. You know that?
Just by sheer
itself.
size.
No, fifth in economic size.
Well, look what they have.
Yeah, compare California to any red state. Completely outclasses it.
Right, right. I
Name
mean, look at
name
what
one
they're-
red state that has a higher GDP per capita than California. There's not a
right
single
there.
one.
I mean, it's the ports alone. You know, will suffice. I mean, the ports that they have, they're massive. Oakland.
What about
LA.
Florida?
They're not nowhere near California. I mean, they all come from the west side, and they truck it to the east coast. They don't. Nothing come. I mean, you know, you have your goods coming from the Red Sea and all that, but it's not nearly as much as what comes from Taiwan, China, and the Malaysia. You know, I mean, Malaysia and all those other countries. Those are. That's got to be a good 75% of our GDP right there. And California takes up a lot of it.
So guess what? What's it called? The GDP per capita is of Florida.
Oh, GDP of Florida?
GDP per capita of Florida.
2.7.
2 points. What?
Well, I'm not understanding the question. Sorry.
Okay, GDP per capita would be like GDP divided by population. Okay, and GDP divided by population for Florida in 2023 is 70,500. In California, it's 100K.
So yeah, they're pretty close to each other. So
Wait,
does Florida take on the stuff that comes from the Middle East?
Wait, to clarify, to Scott, to clarify, right? 70 is close to 100.
Well, I mean, it's if you were to round up.
Scott, that wouldn't that would round down to 50. That wouldn't even round up to 100. No,
Sorry. It's past my pay grade. I'm just going to be honest and humble myself on that. I'm not understanding the true question. So
you're fine. Well, California's economy is definitely doing better than Florida's. I mean, you can compare it to any other Republican state, right? It's not even close.
We got some turbulent times coming, my friend. Shit's gonna hit the fan on all levels, from religion to government, on every country. Because it's not just our country is experiencing a migrant crisis. You got the Netherlands, you got Europe, you got all these other countries, Ireland, that are. I'm seeing the videos. They're fucking having some issues.
Ireland
or Scotland, I think. They've got migrants there. But Netherlands, Hague, Netherlands, did you see that? They just lit it up. They've got a group that came from South Africa that posed as a particular race. They lied about it. They turn out that they're the opposition of the race that they were posing as. Well, something happened. They lit a town up on fire. It's in Hague, Netherlands. I mean, that's crazy stuff. I mean, they're going into another country and
Hey, Scott,
they're
Scott,
freaking
Scott.
destroying it.
I have no clue what you're saying right now. If we just want to talk about like the context, yo, Potato, thank you for the $1.69. Thank you so much.
Check it in. Check it out. Hague, Netherlands. Google. I mean,
Did you say medical examiners for dead people, by the way?
Do they what?
Did you say medical examiners for dead people?
No, not at all.
Oh, someone thought you did. Yeah. So here, I'll ask you this question, right? Yeah, I don't know. Medical examiner for Biden. Okay. Oh, never mind. I must have heard wrong. So yeah, let's go back to like the broader context of the conversation. What's relevantly different amongst Biden and Trump? That means that you're going to vote for Trump.
Trump has a vision that's easily interpreted. Biden's a little bit convoluted. To what
Biden has an image that's easily
is.
Wait,
Trump
you know what?
has the "Make America Great Again" type of.
When was America great?
I think he's probably talking about the 50s.
The 50s were great for who? That was prior to the Civil Rights Act.
Well, the 50s were a time that everyone had an opportunity. And yes, Jim Crow was still around.
Everyone had an opportunity, but there was racial segregation.
Absolutely. Jim Crow was still around. But
everyone had an opportunity, but there's racial segregation. What? What the fuck are you talking about?
You only have certain states that had the actual segregation. All the other states were in compliance, and things.
That doesn't mean that there wasn't heavy racism.
Dude, there's still systemic racism. I mean, you can't say there's not. There's still nut jobs out there.
Yeah, I understand.
We're not going to get rid of them.
Again. So again, we're not great then, right? So again, the whole point is, again, how are we great? And when you say great, who are you saying great for? You're saying great for white men. That's what you're saying it for. It wasn't great for indigenous people. It wasn't great for people who are black.
I should
it wasn't
be cognizant of that. You're right.
Many different people in this country.
You're right.
It wasn't great for gay
Absolutely.
people. It wasn't great for trans people. It wasn't great for a lot of people. So
right.
Again, when you say
I
make America great again, it begs the question, when was America great, right? And how is Trump going to make it great?
I don't know, but I don't think he's racist.
Oh, really?
I think he's actually going to get the black vote.
Wait, Scott, can I ask you this question?
I do. I mean, he's speaking.
Scott,
he's
can I ask?
equality for everyone.
Getting votes from people who are black does not mean you're not racist, by the way. One, two, as it relates to this, I can bring up a particular scenario when he says, right, when he talks about the Mexican people coming into the country, when he says they're not sending their best, they're sending rapists, criminals, right? Some I assume are good people, right? Some indicating a minority of individuals. Do you think that's a racist statement?
I think he's going by the numbers of what's happening down there.
Undocumented migrants and documented migrants are less likely to commit crime. Okay.
No, it's
when
the
he
cartel.
says like some I assume are good people, right? How do you not see that as a racist statement when if that same statement were targeted against any other group of people, you'd say that would be messed up? Let me give you an example, right? If he referred to women, right, saying some I assume are good people, would that be a sexist statement?
No.
No. So he's indicating most are bad people, and that's not a sexist statement.
No, you can't say that most. I don't think that.
Yeah, because when he says some, he's indicating a minority of individuals. So most he's saying are bad people.
Yeah, I think you might be overthinking that one. I think he was just trying to pinpoint the cartels. I mean, he really was talking about the cartels.
No, he was talking about people who are migrating to the country.
Right, and the cartels are overrunning Mexico right now. I mean, they own Mexico, and that's a problem. So that's the influx you're going to get.
Yeah, so why
most of those people are from that,
and that's heavily due to the policies that were like the drug war that have given them power, right? And
exactly,
Trump supports those policies related to the drug war. One, two, this statement's clearly still racist. Okay, do you think the Muslim ban was?
The Muslim ban?
Yeah, he called it the Muslim ban.
I don't recall ever hearing that. Yeah, him talking about
Do you
Muslim.
want me to show you multiple articles right now of him showing you it's the Muslim? Hell, I'll show you a video of him claiming it's the
So
Muslim
he
ban.
might have been talking about Sharia law and Islam.
No, he said a Muslim ban. That's what he said specifically.
You sure it wasn't Islam or the extremists?
Muslim
Radicals?
would be referring to someone who is a believer in Islam. And most people who are Muslims are not radicals.
That's true, but he also said the word radical when he's talking in congruence with Muslim.
Yeah, but it's
He's
a
talking
ban. He said a Muslim ban. He didn't say it's not specific to people who are radicals. It's a Muslim ban. That's what he said.
But he incorporated radical into that whole belief system right there. I mean, it's
Did he claim Muslim ban? Did he say that?
no, I think he's being taken out of context. If it's just narrowing it to Muslim only, I think he's talking radical Islam.
And complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can. Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
What extra context do I need? Potato, thank you for the $1. I
Who was
appreciate it.
that?
Thank you so much.
Who was that?